Recording?
We are live. It's a hot mic right now, as they
Oh.
say in the biz.
Don't say anything crazy, or do.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Just might.
So, Meg, why don't you introduce who we're speaking with today?
Today we have Erin Azar on the show.
But it's
In
more
studio.
important. I think more people know her as I am Mrs. Space Cadet,
Yes.
which I was disappointed when I met Dan, who I assume is your husband, that his last name isn't Space Cadet.
I forced him to get an Instagram account, actually, and I wanted it to be Mr. Space Cadet, but I think he wanted to separate himself a little from that, and that he's saying no. Yeah, so anyway, shout out to It Me Dan LOL on Instagram. Everyone go follow him.
All right. We're going to grow that family Instagram account.
Yes. Yeah, I'm married to clueless social media dude, which I think is actually a nice fit.
That works.
That's a nice balance.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So it's for people who don't know you. Let's just give them a little flavor. First off, go to her Instagram handle. Just watch a couple of the clips. Like you'll instantly kind of like, I don't know what it is about your charm, but it's kind of disarming and you immediately are like, okay, I get it. I get what she's doing here and I'm all for it. But can you kind of describe to the audience, like, who doesn't know you, which seems weird because you're following. How many followers do you have?
On Instagram.
Oh, wait. Worldwide.
Oh, we're on everything?
just,
I don't know.
Just Instagram, because that's where, well, I guess are you more TikTok famous?
Yeah.
TikTok is like over 850,000.
Whoa.
And then Instagram's over 200. I don't know, 200,000. I don't know which, like how much.
Wow. Like a Kardashian.
Basically.
Kardashian of struggle running world.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
What is your channel and what can people expect to see when they're on it?
My channel, I feel, well, when I started, so I only started running 3 years ago. And I think that's why my content is this way, because I also started right before the pandemic. And when I started, I didn't want to run with other people because I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. My shoes had holes in them. Like, I just had my third baby. I think I was running in a nursing bra. Like, I didn't have a sports bra. It was a mess. And I'm like, I'm not running with people. Like, that's so intimidating. I just have to figure out how to run. And then the pandemic hit. So just when I could be like, maybe I'll be brave and join a little running group, that was shut down. So that's where my content really took off, because I needed to find a friend that was not doing well running, but wanted to run for like mental health or just their overall health. And so I'm like, I can't meet anyone in real life. I'm just going to post a video of what I really look like, as if the person was running with me, and just see if I can find a friend. And one of those first videos on TikTok went viral. And I'm like, oh my God, these are going to be 10-year-old boys making fun of me. And, because at that time, TikTok. I thought that's what TikTok was. But I heard like, hey, if you post on TikTok, the algorithm will show you your people. So I'm like, well, let's just test this out. And all the comments were like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like, why don't more people show this? And I was like, I think I just found like a missing piece of the running social media puzzle, because there's so many runners on social media and you guys share actual helpful things and do reviews. And that's for people that already know how to run and they already know basics, at least, about shoes. But I wanted to show what it was like to start running.
I love that you said that we're helpful. That's what
I think so.
That's what all the
from
things
everything
that you said.
Yeah, that's what Thomas heard.
I was like, you guys are helpful.
And I was curious what you said about those new Sauconys, because I got the same ones. Yeah, so I think it's helpful stuff.
Okay, so you said you were intimidated to run with people when you first got started, but
I think everybody is, aren't they?
Definitely. But you also went out there, I think, for your very first runs with a video camera and showed it to the world. Like, that to me seems way more vulnerable and hard than running with one person.
I think my thing is I'm a people pleaser. So if I run with other people, it's on me to make sure I'm trying to run like their pace, and I don't want them to have a bad run because I'm with them. So that's why I personally was intimidated to do that. But I feel like I didn't even now, I mean, I asked you guys, what's your pace for your, because to me, 9 minutes per mile is a sprint, but that's your average pace for a shakeout run. So I still have those doubts, or just knowing like I might hang back and eat breakfast tacos.
And bagels.
And bagels. Yeah. I mean, I'm totally fine with that.
But it turns out, I think that, you're saying that, but immediately when you posted on the invite on our gram, you had several people say, hey, no, I'm team struggle. I'm going to run with you. So Kafuzi is actually the latest person to say, I'm with you, Erin. So you've got Kafuzi. I know that Jen Scrimity, who is from New Balance, wants to run with you. And who was the other person? There's one other person that was like, on our team who's running the Train to NYC, Allison Staples, who's like, yeah, I'm right with you. So
okay, well, we'll have a little crew.
You'll probably have a large.
I was gonna say, I think people would change any pace they were planning to run just to run with you.
Well, that's a big compliment. And then I'll run, I'll get sweaty, and then I'll go to a 4-hour meet and greet.
Perfect.
So it's just very fitting.
I do think though that's what runners expect. Like they don't expect you to show up showered and looking like you're ready to go. I don't know what you do once you shower.
I never look ready to go. All
right.
But yeah, but that's my content, is just showing the relatable side of what I call struggle running. Yeah. Which, by the way, Nike just did a guided struggle run, and
you're like, hey, where's my paycheck?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was maybe a little inspiration was due, inspired by.
I like inspirated by you.
I think inspirated.
Yeah. It's funny, but though, like, let's talk about something that's also kind of cool about the modern world. You live in bumfuck, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Literally.
Like, a few years ago, and Robbie actually wanted me to ask this question. He's like, can you kind of describe, like, that? Here's the thing that blows my mind. Like, for Megan, she hates being on camera. Like, Megan, like, we have had to, come on, Megan, please.
I know. I've gotten used to it.
She's gotten used to it, but it's really taken a lot of work. Like, so that's the first hurdle.
Okay.
Now you're out in the middle of nowhere, cornfields, talking to yourself on the sides of the road. Like, did you think that, like, a few years back, like, there would be no way for you to do this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, I was hoping to find virtual friends and have kind of like do a little check-in and accountability or whatever. So I was never thinking like, 3 years from now, I'm going to be sitting recording a podcast with legit running people who know running things, and then going to New York City Marathon and doing events. Like, absolutely not. That was so, even still sitting here, I'm like, what is going on? Like, but I mean, I'm enjoying every second of it, because the thing is, I'm getting to kind of be immersed in a group of people that I never really would be. You know what I mean? If I wasn't doing this, because it seems very, I don't know, not like isolating, but you're a group of people and you know what you're doing. You're kind of serious about running. And I just want to kind of know like what that mindset is like, because I'll never be serious.
But see, I think that's actually what like is so attractive about what you're doing is when I see it, like you remind me of like when I started running, I was like, oh yeah. Like now I can walk out the door and I don't feel like, I remember the first time I put tights on. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, should I put shorts over them? If I put shorts over them, then people are going to think that I'm afraid that I got to hide my, junk.
Yeah, then you're not going to look confident.
Yeah, you're going to show up and all the cool guys, they're just out.
Yeah,
and
they really are.
Oh. And it's like, I remember the first time I showed up to like group run in tights and I was like, this hurts. So I get it, and it brings me back. That's kind of like what I enjoy about it. But overall, what you're talking about, I think, is what I really love about running. It's like the democratization of levels. Like we will get to talk to, we spoke to Kipchoge.
That's wild.
And when you say serious runner, like that dude's a serious runner.
Yeah.
Like I look at that and I go, I get to be in the same universe as him, and he'll talk to me. And it is like you start to realize everybody running can identify with some of these things that you're dealing with. And I think what you do really well is you highlight some of these things that maybe people forget about.
Yeah, which I didn't realize until it was actually at the Boston Marathon weekend last year. Or no, this year. I always forget that's in April.
There was like double though. So you had the October
and then
April.
it's confusing.
Right. Okay, so the one in April. I'm just there to cheer people on, and I'm creating my regular content. And I see Kira D'Amato finish her 5K, and I'm already climbed up on a fence to try and do my like social media annoying thing. And so I just yell, Kira. And she looked over and she's like, oh my God, I love you. Your videos. I'm like, wait, what? No, I love you. Who are you? Wait, it was so confusing to me. And she came around the fence and we talked for a little bit. And she said that, you know, even though she's this professional runner, she still relates and finds humor in, you know, having a bad run or having to pee on a run or like any of the things I talk about. Even if you are a serious runner, you can relate to those things. And that was the first time that I was like, oh, I didn't think of it like that, because there were professional runners that started following me. I'm like, I wonder, maybe it's more like an exhibition thing. Like they're just like, who is this weird lady? I'd like to watch this, you know, as entertainment. But I started to realize like, oh, maybe they do find humor in this because they've been there too.
It's like you tap into like, okay, you probably remember this because everybody knows about it, but the Pixar movie, what was the Pixar movie where they have the little people in her head?
Oh, that I cry when I watch that.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember the name?
It's like the emotion.
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like you in a runner's head could be one of the characters in there that we all, even though like people talk about imposter syndrome or all that stuff. So like even now I can hear you talking like you're not a serious runner. You run all the time, kind of makes you a serious runner.
Yeah,
like it's a big
Just
part of
ran
your
the
life.
Chicago Marathon. Like
Right.
of a big deal.
But in our heads, we all have a little Erin Azar that's like, yeah, you know, I could be fast. I'm not as fast as those people. I'm not as serious as they. I don't, you know, my shorts right up, you know, whatever. But that's the other thing. Like you talk about stuff that nobody talks about, as far as like Megan would be mortified to wear shorts and show that they're creeping up her crotch. Like that would be a nightmare if I was like, Megan, let's do a video where you show people that the shorts
just go
right
walk
up.
in a circle and then come back and then show your shorts up your thighs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you talk about this, that like, I wouldn't know that that's an issue. And you point out, okay, manufacturers, you're making this. Who are you testing this on? What are you doing? Because if it goes up your coochie, it's
In
not a
5
good look.
steps, especially
Yeah.
like, geez, you don't even have time to do a side step to correct it. I mean, you're just going to be walking with your legs out the whole time. Yeah. And the reason I know that's a huge, you know, almost universal thing is the amount of views. Like 5 million views each of those videos get.
5 million. That's
And
insane.
even like on Instagram, it's, you know, millions of views. So that's people, that means since I obviously don't have a million followers, people are sharing it to their friends because they're like, oh, this
800,000
is
is
us.
really close to a million.
Well, but it does show like people and their friends are, you know, you can laugh about it. And I feel like by bringing it up, it also gives all of us collectively like permission to laugh at it. So, yeah.
And that's the other thing. It's like, you know, I look at the way that typically in social media, we try to present the best. Like, here's my marathon where I ran my best. Here's my, you know, it's you're cultivating.
Perfect race photos.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Never post the down step.
Yeah, down steps are bad. But you're taking these things and you're comfortable sharing with it, which I think is super healthy. And on the flip side, like, do you ever get tired of being self-effacing and like letting people laugh at your discomfort, or that feeling? Like, how did you get comfortable enough with yourself that you're like, this is just what it is. This is how it's going to go.
Yeah, it's a good question. When you were bringing up the running tights earlier, I had this epiphany recently that, you know, confidence is everything. Like if you could be a really, really perfect looking person, whatever you think a perfect looking person looks like, I don't even know. But if you're not confident,
I'm going to go with who would be, you like that guy, Ryan Reynolds. That's her perfect
Okay, so
looking
you
person.
could be Ryan Reynolds, but if you're not confident and you're kind of like walking a certain way or like hunched down or looking, it kind of, I don't know, people pick up on that. So everyone wants to be confident, but that's not always easy. So the thing that I do is I just don't care. And it appears that I'm confident, but I just don't care.
Do you really not care? Like, is there ever...
Genuinely. Like Dan, I mean, can attest to this. He's just like, how are you showing this? Like, aren't you, you know, and I just don't, I don't know what it is. I
So
think
there's never been a comment or something that you're like, that stings.
no, but I do get bothered by some comments that I feel like other people that do care are going to see and they'll relate it to themselves. So a big one is I could walk faster than you run, or it, you know, worded in whatever way. I don't care about that because I'm like, then walk next to me at my next marathon.
Great, let's do a marathon
I think it would be
together.
really fun, actually.
Yeah.
But I get worried that someone who runs a 12-minute mile is going to see that comment and be like, well, I shouldn't even try running, because that's how people think of it.
Yeah, it's so weird. Pace in general, I think, is such a weird thing. Like, I get hung up on pace, and, you know, I want to run competitively for my age group or whatever. And a lot of times, if you leave a marathon or a race right after you finish, you feel like you're all by yourself, because you could be running in your pace all by yourself, and you finish and all your friends are up ahead of you, whatever it is, and you feel low. And it was kind of weird because then, you know, the races where you either have to walk back and you see some of the course while you're walking back, you realize, no, there's always somebody. There's always somebody who's faster. There's always somebody who's slower. Like it really, I know it's cliche in running, but we always say nobody cares but you.
Yeah. And I think that applies to a lot of things. Nobody cares. That's what I tell people. A lot of, especially women that follow me, they say they don't want to start running because they don't want people to see them. And what I say is, if someone cares, that's really on them. That's weird that they care, and they need to do some inner work on themselves. But really, nobody cares, and no one's probably going to see you, because either everyone's on their phone, or they're driving, or, you know, they're occupied by something, and they probably won't see you, but they might see you show up every day. Just notice that there's this person. They're not looking at you like that, your size and everything else. And then in a year from now, they're going to look at you with admiration and be like, oh my gosh, there's that person. I saw them running all year in rain and snow.
I actually, when I see somebody that I know, they're uncomfortable, that they're just starting to run, I usually feel empathy towards them.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's brave for you to come out here. I know strapping on tights and a tight-fitting shirt and stuff when you're out of shape is not the ideal for you. It's like, this
not
is not
comfortable.
Yeah,
right.
It's 100 degrees out and you're wearing a shirt to cover up. I know that's not a good feeling, and you're out here doing it anyway. Like a lot of times I'm like, yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
And you don't want to say it because you don't want to be like,
You don't want to be like
hey,
patronizing.
yeah, way to go.
Yeah.
But, you know, I am, you know, you do think that. So if I would bet you more people are feeling that thought, like, hey, you're starting your journey. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of starting, like, why did you start 3 years ago?
I started, I mentioned before having my third baby, and I felt this after each one. It's just like pure exhaustion, feeling physically and mentally unhealthy because like your hormones are all over the place and you're not sleeping and you have your other kids to take care of. So you have mom guilt because they're not getting attention. And it's this whole like cycle that you can really get stuck in. And I just felt like on this day, it was like such a knee-jerk reaction, honestly. It wasn't like a premeditated, like, oh, I'm going to prepare to run, so I need shoes and I need a sports bra. And I love watching the first run I ever did and looking what I was wearing because A, I think it's relatable for people that would be in that similar spot, and B, just like, wow, I really didn't plan this out. You could put your finger through the holes in my shoes, in my running shoes.
What brand was it?
Brooks.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Everyone just, I feel like that's just, I don't know what to get. I'll get Brooks.
Yeah.
And then drill holes in them.
Yeah, apparently. I think, honestly, because when I was pregnant, like my feet, I think that's where my wider feet came from. I think I always had wide feet, but they got wider with pregnancy. And I think they were just like pushing at the sides of the sneakers. So anyway, they had holes in them. I had like this just big t-shirt on, shorts that probably rode up my thighs because I didn't have the spandex ones. And, but I just was like, I need A, fresh air. B, I need some form of exercise, like just to move my blood in my body because I was just feeling like I was going to lose it. And I was just like, I need to go for a run. Didn't know what that meant. When we going to run 100 feet.
Did you ever run in school, like track or anything?
No.
Okay, so this is totally new.
That was
track or anything.
Yeah, I thought cross country and track were the same thing up until a few months ago. And I knew that I thought people that ran cross country and track were a little off because I'm like, why would you want to do that? I run for punishment. Like if we got in trouble in gym class or something, you would have to run. And if you got in trouble during sports, you would have to run. So I'm like, I don't want to do that by choice. But on this day that I started, there was no other choice. Like we don't have a gym nearby. We didn't have equipment in our house. And I didn't want to be in the house. I was like, I don't know, just in that mindset, I was going to explode.
Need to get away.
Yeah. And luckily it was a nice day, a nice morning, and I just went. And I'm like, I'm going to run and just see where I get and turn around, and that's it, and just see what happens.
And you filmed this first run?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's foresight.
I had an inkling. I'm like, maybe I won't be running in a month, but I need to figure out something. So I wanted to film the start of that. So if something did happen and I found a way to help myself, then I could be like, oh, I have these videos I can share with people, or look back myself and be like, that's a visible, maybe not physical change, but I can tell in myself I feel better, and just have those videos for myself and realize like, oh, I did that. So I'm going to keep going now. If I did that in a month, then what could happen in 2?
So when you came back from that first run, did you just save that video for yourself, or did you immediately publish it?
I saved it, and I remember talking to Dan, and I'm like, okay, well, I barely made it a mile, but I felt something a little, like I didn't know what it was. Definitely wasn't a runner's high because I don't think I was out there long enough. But I just felt like a little relief. I think just getting a little exercise and sunlight, fresh air. So I'm like, I'm going to do this for 30 days because I quit everything I start. I've always been like that. I'm always like, I'm going to eat this certain way because I read that it helps your heart. And then I'll like go on this thing for 30 days, or not even like 5 days. I'm like, screw that. Yeah, I want to have fun in my life. So anyway, I just tend to quit everything. So that's why I was like, I'm doing this for 30 days no matter what. And just so I can stick with it and form that habit of just basics, like putting your shoes on, putting a bra on, going outside, just to build that up. And it worked, obviously.
Do you think with 3 kids, like, it's funny because people call running selfish, and obviously it is something that you're doing for yourself. So by definition, I guess that is selfish. But at the same time, I feel like as a parent, getting out there, getting your head straight, getting your blood flowing, feeling healthy, feeling a sense of accomplishment, those things all bleed back into the rest of the stuff that you do.
Yeah, including parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a better parent. I wouldn't even call that selfish. I would argue with someone, I think, if they told me running selfish, because I feel like what would be selfish is me staying in that spot where I felt stuck, and then I'm bringing all that negativity on my family. I think that's selfish, but you never know where someone's at in their life. So, I mean, no judgment on anyone, what they choose to do. But yeah, I think it's very selfless to try and find something that makes you feel better.
So at this point, when you start running, you have a full-time job as well as being a mom. Mm-hmm. And then when did that transition happen? Because now this is your job.
Yeah, which is really wild. hello, everyone. This is weird.
Professional runner.
Yeah,
You are.
Right.
3 years in, professional runner. That's amazing.
I'm going to put serious runner in my bio.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you know there's somebody already called serious runner though?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he might fight you.
All right, I'll just keep struggle runner.
I don't know. I think you could take him out. I mean, he does not have 800,000 followers that I know of.
Yeah. Well, I don't like taking people's ideas.
Well, you didn't know. So
Right.
it's your
Well,
idea.
No, I do. I forget what we were talking about.
When you became a serious runner.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when you transitioned out of your full-time job to this being your full-time job.
Yeah. It
Professional
was,
running.
Right. Professional, elite.
Mm-hmm.
I compete to win runner. No, it was about a year, I think, because things happened very fast. And so I was trying to juggle content creation with my job and having 3 kids. And it was just like I was doing everything half-ass, and that was driving me crazy.
So you got rid of the kids.
Right, so I got rid of the kids. I kept my job.
That didn't work.
Right. So I made that decision, which was so hard because I was not making a lot of money, like even near what I was making with my job. But I just felt like because there was this space that was not, taken, I guess, in the social media world. And because people were really relating to it, and people were starting to comment like, oh, I started running because of you. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that was such a cool feeling. And, but that's kind of like what made me take the leap. And I figured if it doesn't work, then I'll just go back to working.
So Dan seems like a quiet pillar of strength over there, but did he shit his pants when you quit your job?
I think we collectively did, honestly. Yeah, that was not an easy call. And not just that, but I don't know anyone in my real life that does social media or even is on social media. Like Dan, I had to force him to make an Instagram account. And my friends aren't on social media. My mom got TikTok because I'm on there. But she doesn't understand that world.
Yeah.
So I had there were some people that were even like, well, that can all disappear real quick. And I'm like, well, so can a job, dude.
Yeah, nothing is permanent. But the crazy thing is, and you can maybe talk me into this, because like TikTok for us, we made a decision. We started doing some stuff on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And it was just like,
Too hard.
Not just too hard, but I was like I was hearing too many. I admit it mostly came from Joe Rogan, but too many negative things about like China and that they're checking people's location and all this stuff. And I was just like, we have our website, we have our YouTube, we have our Instagram. Do I really need to be on TikTok? And there are people who are doing it better. Like we're not necessarily, it's not like the personality of just me and Believe in the Run. It's Megan, it's Robbie, it's Brandon. We have a team, and we even bring people in like Widefoot Jarrett, who I think you're going to love.
I'm so excited. I hope he comes.
He's coming.
He is coming.
Okay.
And you guys are going to
Be best friends.
there's an energy that I think, he's one of my favorites, and you guys share a certain energy that I think you'll dig. But it's not a space where I could get on every day and be like, hey, this is me doing my run. And two, honestly, and maybe I could be wrong because I never thought people would want to listen to a podcast that we're doing. Mm-hmm. But I don't think anybody really wants to see what I do every day.
There's a guy on there that has millions of views peeling eggs. Don't think that people don't want to watch what you're doing.
That's all he does?
Oh yeah.
Is he really good at it?
I don't know. I don't watch enough of it.
Because
but
I suck at. I can't do hard-boiled eggs. Like I always get the skin stuck. Gets stuck on it.
I totally relate. Yeah.
You're not a guy for that.
All right, maybe I will go on TikTok.
Yeah, I watch people cleaning rugs. It's very satisfying. That's on TikTok. Millions of views. So I
do like cutting clay.
Hey, you could cut clay. No, but it would do your podcast while you're cutting clay and just staring at the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, seductively.
Yeah. I think the thing is TikTok and Instagram, the audiences do have a different sense of humor. That's what I've noticed. So I can't always take a TikTok video that's sort of like a trend on there or an inside joke on that platform and then translate it to Instagram.
That was the big problem that I think we were having. I think we wanted to treat it like Instagram, and it just doesn't
won't work.
translate.
Right.
And I was like, do we want to spend the time learning the language of TikTok?
Well, and creating double the content for it's,
Right. I think you could create for TikTok and translate to Instagram, but you can't create for Instagram and translate to TikTok.
yeah.
So is it like your first post that gets 1 million views on TikTok, or was that like several posts down the line that like one blew up?
Right. Well, when I first got TikTok, it was really me trying to figure out. I mean, I'm in my 30s. I'm a mom. Like I was not down
Did you do dancing?
with the time on TikTok.
Yeah.
No,
But
eventually.
we have now.
Eventually, I did in my own way. Once I came into my own like character and stuff that I do, of course I was down with the dancing. But yeah, to start, I was like, what is this like filter? What is it? So it's a lot of me just like clicking it and staring at the camera and just like, and I left those up because I'm like, I just don't care going back to that. But so that's kind of how I learned. I'm like, okay, this is how you record. This is how you can record on and off to do a run. Once I started running, and then so yeah, the first, I would say one of the first running videos is what went viral. Like nothing before that did, because I was just like literally trying to learn how to use the app. I was like a grandmom. I mean, because I wasn't
Here's me
really
turning into a horse.
yeah, because yes, I wasn't really into social media before that. So I was always like intrigued by it. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like I would watch YouTube, and so I knew that was a thing. But I'm like, I would say to Dan, like, yeah, I could never be a YouTuber because we live here. And look at Casey Neistat. He lives in New York City. That's why it's so easy for him to make content.
Going around on hoverboards and
right. And now
like
I realize, oh, it's not about that. It's just like you just have to find something you truly want to share with no expectations.
Well, it is strange because I do love having the backdrop of a city, and we live by the water. So I do enjoy having that. I look at your videos and I'm like, she's doing the best she can with a cornfield.
Right.
You know, like, I'm gonna throw my water bottle down and hit the road here. And I you know, when I said earlier that it's like Inside Out, even if we don't actually do some of the stuff that you're doing, like, you know, stop and grab our knees, and in our heads we're doing that. Like I think there's like Megan's a lot faster than I am, and
I can tell.
Yeah,
she has that vibe.
She does.
She's looking at you like, oh, I'll run you any day.
Well, there was a time. But the funny thing is though, like I know living with someone who's into it as much as I am, I know that she feels mostly the same feelings. And once you start realizing that, and I'm just getting back to the whole conversation before, but it is so universal that like I think that's the appeal. But my thing is with TikTok is that, like, again, you start there. When did you decide to start shifting into YouTube and Instagram? And also, we for ourselves, yeah, for us, the YouTube has such a dominant male audience. And I'm wondering, do you have a female audience? Or like when you said you were watching YouTube, I'm like, this is the woman that's watching YouTube. Like, what got you onto YouTube?
You're asking so many questions at once. I'm genuinely trying because I want to answer them all because I want to talk about it, but I don't want to miss something.
All right, which one should we
Just stop
start
asking questions.
No.
Shut up.
No. Because you started with, when did I go to Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, so I went on Instagram after I got like 100K on TikTok because people kept wanting to talk to me. And I'm like, on TikTok, how it works, I would have to follow everyone. So we would have to follow each other and then they could message me. I'm like, this is so hard. So
800,000 following 800,000 people.
So to tell, it was easier to say, DM me on Instagram, but I didn't have like anything on there. So I tried to take pictures and I didn't know what to do with my hands. That's where running outfit of the day came from.
I love it.
Because I was just like, I genuinely was like looking up how to pose for Instagram. And it was all those,
you were typing this into your browser.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
is
amazing.
Me.
Okay.
This is my life.
I love this.
And I was trying to like contort and like slightly bend my back. I just cracked my back just doing that. And like put one foot out. And I was like trying to I'm like, this is so awkward. I cannot in my right mind do this and post it. So I'm like, screw it. They want to see my outfit. Here it is. And that's, it made it easier for me. And it also made it easier for people to message me. And like, I love reading messages. It's one of for those 2 years, I didn't meet anyone in person. I didn't there was not one race or one running group still meeting. So that was my way to connect. And that's so I would say like, I don't know, maybe 5 months after I started TikTok, I was on Instagram. YouTube, I've always tried to do. I love making videos. But for me, it was just like filming my day, editing it in a funny way because it was never funny in the moment. It was always chaos and crying and whatever. And then I would send it to my mom, be like, LOL, like, look at this. So I always really enjoyed doing that. But YouTube, I just started about like maybe 2 months ago being consistent with it again and being very purposeful about it. And to answer your YouTube question, it is very male dominated and my audience is like 4% men on like TikTok. I know at least it's 4%. So it's difficult for me over there, but I wanted to share some insight with you. If you're wondering what women are searching for on YouTube, I thought it would be like, this is very stereotypical,
hot men.
But it's I thought it would be like mom, or like craft ideas or meal prep stuff. It's actually business. Like they want to learn how to start a podcast, how to start an LLC, investing.
So that's what you're doing on YouTube?
That's exactly what I do on YouTube. Come check me out, Mrs. Space Cadet. No, I'm just, Mrs. Space Cadet. Invest for all your investing needs. But yeah, I mean, on YouTube, I'm doing my regular content, but I noticed I have more pull on there now because people for like 2 years have been watching short videos of me and can tell that there's more that I want to say or do or show about my life. But that's what's frustrating me about short form stuff is I can't get to the point of why I'm starting this like strength series. Whereas on YouTube, I can and tell this whole story around it and do an actual series and have it be meaningful and entertaining. So I think people are like, I want to see more. And then I share, hey, I have a YouTube on my Instagram. And then people subscribe. So I know there's like that interest, but those people that are subscribing aren't just on YouTube in their daily lives.
So you're bringing them to YouTube?
I'm bringing them.
Oh, YouTube must love you. They're like, hey,
right,
do that pull up.
Right.
Let's get up. Yeah,
exactly.
I did see that video of you trying some new physical stuff that's not running. Mm-hmm. I think it's very brave.
I've heard that
it hurts.
I've heard that it helps running.
I've heard that. I've been doing it.
Do you skip strength?
No,
I do. I don't do any of it.
She's baloney. She rides a bike.
I do cross training, but like strength training
it's supposed to be really good.
You have them little dumbbells and stuff?
I have some 2-pound dumbbells.
I do the strength training stuff.
Okay.
It's probably helping. I'd probably be a lot worse if I wasn't doing it.
Right.
But do I see like I did this for 3 months and now all of a sudden my paces are all dropped? No, it's just maybe injury prevention. Like
I'm down for injury
better balance.
I was gonna say, what's your goal with this whole thing?
I want to
Muscles.
I want to. So for example, my 5-year-old son downhill mountain bikes with Dan, like legit bombs down and goes over jumps and catches air.
Look at Dan Proud over there.
He's so
like,
proud.
yeah.
He's such a proud dad. And Dan's like into sailing and like these things I want to do with them, but I fall behind in like 5 seconds with them mountain biking. I can't go over a jump because I can't push. Like I have no strength to push down on the bike. I can't hold a rope on a sailboat. Yeah. You know, my arms start shaking, and I'm genuinely sick of it. Like, it's so frustrating. And the other thing is I'm doing a season 2 of Red Bull's podcast, Why I Run, and they're going to send me to, like, some of these extreme sports events.
Are they going to have you do David Goggins stuff?
I cannot.
That would be the best if they paired you with David Goggins and had him train you for a week. I would watch that.
He is my antithesis. I think I should train David Goggins to chill out a little bit.
I think the two of you on a show together would be
that'd be pretty
like
good.
Gold. Like I would be addicted. That would be more important to me than what's that island show we watch? Love Island.
Oh, yeah. Some good trash TV.
I think people would tune in for it. I'm totally here for it because I think he could help me a lot, and I could help him a lot. I thought Dan was giving me the timeout sign. Like, did I say something?
No, I think he's all excited about the mountain biking and sailing.
Yeah.
Have you tried paddleboarding? That's hard.
No, but I know it'll be hard. Like I'm forcing myself. I have skipped strength training to the. It's not good. Okay, so I can still run 26.2 miles. But I know that there's strength training that should be done consistently along the way to prevent injury and to also, like, for bone density, it's good, especially for us. Mm-hmm. And so
why just you guys?
Women.
Ladies.
For you too.
I need it. Okay. Thank you. I want to be part of the club.
You need bone density too.
Yeah.
But so I know there's benefits to it, but to force myself to do it, I have to put myself in these situations to, like, show myself how weak I am.
So is it accountability too? Like, you feel like the audience is watching. Now I got to get to the point where I can do a pull-up.
I don't think the audience cares that much to where it would affect my feeling accountable to them. Just because, like, there's things I don't stick with and no one really cares. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think to me, it's just, I want to be able to keep up. I want to do fun things, and I don't want to get injured running.
So you guys have now 4 kids, right?
3.
Oh, I thought we popped out another one there.
Oh, along the way doing this?
Just getting here. All right, so 3 kids. You've probably been to one of those trampoline parks for a birthday party, right?
Yes.
You're going to say you love it. I know where you're going, right? But I'm going to tell you.
I hated it.
Okay, thank you. Because I run all the time. I feel like my endurance is up there. I get on the trampoline for like 3 seconds and I'm like, oh, I can't breathe.
It's hard, yeah. Aside from the fact that the whole place is, like, dark with neon lights.
A lot of fingerprints.
A lot of fingerprints, a lot of, like, loud random music, and employees that are annoyed at everything, you know, and I'm just like, this is not a good place. The kids loved it, though.
In the employee's defense, can you imagine being in that warehouse for like 8 hours with those neon lights and the loud music? Like, we go there for an hour. We're like, let's go. Okay, finally.
It's really hard.
It's like you walk out and it's like another world when you come out those doors.
No, they probably need some counseling after a shift there.
I would think. And the socks.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these levels to it. I mean, shout out to trampoline parks, but I mean, they're a little rough for the parents.
Maybe they need to rethink those, because they were cool when they first came out. Like, because you're like, oh, my kids can go there. Mm-hmm. They do come back tired.
Yeah, that's a plus. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can wear out those little birthday parties. Those kids would come back and they're like wiped out for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But maybe it needs an outdoor component.
Right. Or something for the parents with a little natural light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can window or 2.
I don't know. Our hack is that we will take a computer.
I thought you were going to say a sun lamp.
And use that's a good idea.
Solid move.
Like one of those
sad lights.
Yeah, sad lights. That's sad. But yeah, like, we take our computers and then actually, like, just do work.
Oh yeah,
and I saw some. Kind of goes by a little faster.
That's a good idea.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so back to your running a little bit in the start of it. You start running, and then the pandemic happens. Mm-hmm. You had signed up for a marathon, I know, that got canceled, postponed, whatever happened.
Yeah.
And you do your first one virtually in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
How and what motivated you to keep doing that?
like going back to I'm someone that quits everything, that was something that was really bothering me to the point where I stuck with running because I was like, I am not like quitting this. This is helping me and I'm doing it. So when I signed up for the marathon, I think it was the Philadelphia one and it was November something. So I had that date in my head. I had this training plan that was scheduled to that date. And when it got canceled, I was I wasn't shocked because everything was shutting down, but I was just so disappointed. I'm like, why now? I finally am pulling myself out of the abyss and I worked toward this thing and now it's just canceled. But I'm like, instead of, I had a little pity party for like temporary pity party, but I'm like, no, I'm sticking with that date. And at that point I heard of virtual marathons and people were doing all these virtual runs. So I decided to make my own virtual run and do it for charity. So I had anyone that signed up donate to the women's shelter in Reading and in Pennsylvania. So we raised like, I think it was $13,000 or $14,000.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that was like a good feeling and I could work toward that, just kind of being energized by that. And the other thing is I didn't know what running a actual in-person marathon was like how they hand you the hydration, you get bananas and Jello shots.
Bananas.
Yeah. So I didn't realize the logistics that went into running one of these just by yourself. So we had like our Gatorade stashed in trash bags along like these not so good areas because I ran it with my coach. And so she mapped out this course. She's like, well, we could do out and back here, but we got to cross over this area, but we're going to need our, so she like planned it all out. And I'm like, oh my God, we're digging through the woods to get these, we're not like trudging through, but you know what I mean? It wasn't exactly just grabbing a cup and running. Like we were opening the Gatorades and opening packages. You don't realize what goes into that, I guess, like the time it eats up. And
stopping to do stuff.
Yeah. and there's no crowds and we couldn't even have our friends and family there because COVID was so bad at that point in time where I didn't even want to tell people like, yeah, come congregate here to watch me do this. So that was sad. And, but I just kept pushing through it because I'm like, I don't even care. Like I just have to do it. And then I'll probably never do it again. And then post-race blues hit and I compulsively signed up for another marathon. Because the thing is, I knew I had to run a marathon or train for a marathon to keep running. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to slack off.
Right. That's the addictive part
that
I don't think people understand. And it's interesting because here you are kind of doing it and you're getting a following that is new to running that's like, hey, if Erin can do this, maybe I can consider this. And you go out there and you're doing it and you're showing the whole thing. Your first experience is not exactly.
It's very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, was there a finish line tape? Did anyone?
No, my watch.
Did you just stop running?
See, we even did a roll of toilet paper for Megan one time.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
but
nice.
No. So they're watching this. You did, but you still got that thing that we all get. Is I got this fit. I'm not going to lose this fitness. Mm-hmm. Let's re-up to another goal, and you finally get to run a marathon with people.
Yeah, New York City.
Whoa.
That was your first one?
Yeah.
So you went from
from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
To everything.
Yeah.
All right. So what was that like?
That was completely unreal. Like I can't even, I'm trying to like think of my mindset going into it. And I know, I'm like, yeah, so it's probably going to be a lot of people. And I'm like talking to myself and there's going to be a lot of people. Okay, the schedule is kind of busy, but we're going to be fine. And we just got to make sure I get my bib. And at that point I did have kind of like, oh, we need you at this event and come here for this at this time. And photo shoot here. So it was a little...
it's a complicated... New York's complicated as far as marathons go anyway.
Right. And I live in the cornfield. So it was really 0 to 60 there too. Luckily, we had some people kind of like helping us get around to the different places. But it was a little like influence-y filled. Mm-hmm. Like I had those things going on.
This would make a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like girl from the country.
Yeah.
Goes to the big city, like runs her thing, goes to
Yeah.
the big city, conquers the world, becomes a media mogul.
Netflix would go for that.
Yeah.
Let's produce it.
Yeah.
We got it.
We have a media company.
Let's write a contract.
Yeah. So New York, but I just assumed, okay, big crowds, a little complicated to get to the start line, but I'll figure it out. And that was, I knew a couple people would be on the route, like to cheer me on, because they messaged me and they said that. I had no idea, like the entire way it would be like Mrs. Space Cadet signs. Someone made a makeshift Mrs. Space Cadet hydration station.
What was at it?
That is amazing.
It was she had orange slices, she had liquid IV, because I like liquid
That's
IV.
your favorite?
Yeah, and us like fun signs, and I was like blown away.
And you didn't know this was going to be out there.
No, and not in that amount either. I was crying the entire marathon pretty much. Like I would pull it together because I can't breathe when I cry, so I was like, I can't, just pull it together so you can actually run. But I was so emotional because of that. And people were like, a couple people that I met that ran onto the route were like crying. And then I instantly cry if I see someone cry. So it was like a lot of emotions. I'm trying to run a marathon. And finishing that, it was like a whirlwind. But that next morning I was on the Today Show. So my face was like swollen from crying the whole day of the marathon. And then I'm on the Today Show, which I've never done before. So New York City, like to answer your question, was just all unexpected. I think that's what it was.
Was the Today Show like? Did you watch that? Did you watch that growing up, or do you watch it on the regular?
Well, we don't have TV where we out and where in these parts.
It's not on TikTok,
right? But yeah, I would see clips of it on social media. I've seen it before, like when I lived places with
but it wasn't
TV.
something that was like some people. It's in their household, like they wake
It's
up, their
not
mom's
like
watching it. And
right. When I was
on it.
younger, yeah, I remember that. So I was familiar with it, and but I was never in a studio. I was never I was on the Today Show remotely before that. But this was a whole different ball game.
What did they have you come on for?
Well, the in-studio one was just like, so the remote one was
segment.
kind of building up. I wish. Oh my God. My remote one was kind of like building up to, yes, I'm running a marathon. And then so that one in studio was like the culmination of that. Like, hey, you did it. And I raised money for the Michael J. Fox Foundation because my dad has Parkinson's. So
I
they
also love
brought
Back to the Future.
Yeah. So they brought him on,
Is that why you're wearing
also.
purple? Or is that just a coincidence?
Just a coincidence,
Okay.
yeah. But so yeah, that was kind of like they wanted to tie that into the story too, and which helped raise more money because
Awesome.
Yeah,
Everybody watching, yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been cool, like just to watch the numbers like jack up when you're on national TV.
Yeah, I don't even think I thought to check them because I'm like, well, I knew people watched the Today Show,
Just like a few million.
but I didn't know that people who are on social media watch the Today Show, if that makes sense.
Okay,
I think
so
everybody- yeah.
were you, like, does that make you nervous? Like going to a studio and being on television? Like, do you get nervous?
It did. I was nervous that morning. I blacked out. I don't know what I said, and I was like, I really fucked that up. And then, but people were like, "Oh my God, you did amazing!" I'm like, yeah, and I'll be the judge of that. And then, so I did watch it back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I made sense. Like, but I didn't remember what I just said as the words were coming out of my mouth. So I was completely not really there.
Oh, like
Yeah.
transcendental. So tell us a little, because you mentioned this Red Bull thing.
Yeah.
What is this?
That's wild too.
What is
Right?
this going to be?
This is, so we interview all sorts of people. So some Red Bull athletes, some non-Red Bull athletes, and not all like professional runners. It's just people that run, that just happen to run. And then we kind of talk about how running helps them in life or what they use running for.
Is this on like YouTube? Like,
It's
where's this
a
go?
podcast that's on all the platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like a podcast.
It is a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
On all the platforms.
Yeah. Did I say that it was not a podcast?
No, you said it's
you-
like a podcast. It's
Oh,
on all the
sorry.
platforms.
I do that. I know.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I also don't pronounce my words.
Enunciate?
Well, enunciate. I don't.
That's my grandmother.
Pronunciate. Yeah, I don't enunciate my words well. So when I'm editing and I'm trying to like slow it down to get like a certain, I'm like, where did I go from on A, like from on to A? It's like Anna.
Well, that's tough because then when you're using the apps that do the, you know,
The cutting, editing,
captions.
captions.
The apps, it must like, you know.
Yeah, it picks it up somehow. I think it does some deciphering.
It's like, this is what you mean, Erin.
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't sound like it, but we think this is where you're going. But yeah, it is a podcast
Oh, cool.
from Red Bull. And so here's an example of something I learned. I didn't know that Formula One racers
Formula. Ooh.
run to stay, because they have to stay like lightweight.
You see how fit they are?
Yeah.
I found that out recently too.
I had no idea.
Right?
I thought they were just little people.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Those dudes are athletes.
Yeah. I want to, and they won't let me. I want to drive one.
The Red Bull team is pretty fancy too. They're like the top
Yeah.
right now. They're number 1 and maybe number 2 driver in Formula One.
That's money. All
But
that.
my favorite Formula One driver of all time, though, is from the Ricky Bobby. What was his name, Meg?
The French guy?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
he drove for Perrier.
Oh, okay.
Wait, so this podcast, it sounded like you were part of your strength training was because you were going to be doing these activities. So are you going places with Red Bull to do these podcasts?
She's gonna drive the car.
So, well, I wish. I don't know if they'll let me actually do stuff, but so last season I didn't go to these events, but this season they're like, hey, we have this. And I'm like, you know what? Why not? Just,
So give us a teaser. What's one of the things you're gonna do?
they're not set in stone. So I feel like I don't want to jinx anything.
How about this? You allude to something that you
can
would
tell us
like
after
to
this.
do.
I'll give examples.
Yeah.
Mountain biking, sailing, windsurfing.
So sort of the
cliff
stuff that's in
diving.
your video.
Yeah.
All right.
Things that I am not strong enough to do. And I'll be very disappointed if I'm in a really cool location and someone's like, hey, do you want to go on this cool trail? And I'm like, sorry, I can't because I'm
I got no
weak.
arms.
I'm weak. There's nothing up here. I can't even hold my handlebars for long enough because my back is a little tired. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it.
This is maybe you call Dan and you'd be like, Dan, on the bike, go.
Right.
No, that's awesome though. Like that sounds like fun.
So yeah, what's the timeline of this?
It's going to be this year, throughout this year, because
Okay.
So we just started recording for the second season.
Okay.
And Red
Yeah.
Bull goes cool places. Like it's never like you're not going to be
Right.
mountain biking in like your backyard. It's going to be like the Black Forest in Germany or something like
I know.
that.
Yeah, and
And you're
then
going to parachute in.
I would like to go. So a part of it is the Wings for Life World Run, and we kind of like build hype around that as well, which is Red Bull's charity. So it would be cool to go to a flagship run in like Austria, not like Austria, but in Austria.
Exactly like Austria.
Yeah, something like that. I think would be really cool to do too. Yeah.
Oh boy, it is so crazy. Think about like starting off this journey in your nursing bra and your beat up Brooks with holes in it.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of shorts they wear, but they probably wear
That's
not
a
your
good question.
favorite.
They're probably from Target or something.
Yeah, C9. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're starting off and you're like, I'll put a video out. And the next thing you know, you're on a Red Bull podcast
On Today's Show.
and the Today Show.
Running the New York City
People are
Marathon.
doing, yeah.
Yeah. It keeps getting weirder.
Yeah.
Every time I think, well, that was fun. It's just that was just beginning. Like, and then it ramps up again. And I'm like, whoa, where are we now?
That's so interesting.
So you just ran the Chicago Marathon, and I know we're probably running out of time here, but how does that compare to New York City Marathon? Like, did you like it more or less?
Well, it was weird because for New York City, they started me in an early wave so that because the Today Show wanted me to not finish in the dark, like for the footage. They wanted
Got
me to
it,
finish
yeah.
in the daylight to get the videos.
What was how long were you out there?
That's a good question. You know what's funny? Someone asked me my finishing time for Chicago, and I had to look it up on the app. So I do know that one was 5:51.
Okay.
New York City, I actually don't know. I could look it up though.
But like, I'm thinking like to finish in the
you
dark, you'd
start
have to
late.
start.
Yeah, because it starts at like noon, right?
Yeah. So and
Okay.
that's after the time change, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
it
time
is.
change
So it does,
too.
yeah.
Right. So it's a lot of people finish in the dark. I mean, they have the lights up and everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Jarrett, who you're going to meet in a minute.
Yeah.
Was like, if we're not too drunk, I'd love to go out and cheer the people on coming in
Oh, yeah.
in the lights because
Yeah.
our hotel's going to be close there, so it could be fun.
Oh yeah, I want to be there when the last people are coming in for sure. But so I didn't experience the lull in crowd size because I was out early and it was like people were just getting started and everything was like wild and loud, and the whole time because I could feel waves of runners coming behind me because they're all paces are passing
Sure.
the whole time I'm out there. So I would just focus on getting like at the curb so that I wasn't in someone's way, because that's how much faster they were running. And so with Chicago, I started where I should have started, which was early in the day, but that's how early their later waves start. So I was with my people the whole time, which was cool because I was meeting. Those were the people that watched my videos.
That's my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was getting to actually run with them, which was really amazing. But I did notice there were spots where the crowd was sparse. And I don't remember that in New York City unless we were on a bridge.
I don't think that's necessarily your pace.
Yeah,
I do
I
think
don't
there
think that's
are
timing.
some.
There's
Some spots
Oh.
in Chicago that just aren't as
Even the elites got no one there.
popular.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I just assumed it was people went home.
All right, enough of this running.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame them.
Well, no, I mean, I really feel like the cheering happens. There's a couple different types of people that come out to cheer. You got the people that want to see the elites, and they're like, oh, wow, there goes the elites. But the rest of the people are usually there to either cheer on somebody they love, so they're going to wait there until that person goes by, or they just love like this, like the intensity and spirit of people doing something as challenging as a marathon. And I think it's funny because I can't really sit down and watch golf, but
Right.
you show me a person slogging it through 26.2 miles. Like if they showed the very last person, I'd probably watch the whole day. I'd probably be like,
Yeah.
let's sit down, we'll have brunch.
Because it's a journey
Yeah.
being out there that long. It's a full day of ups and downs.
But I also think what it shows is like, okay, so people are out there. Like if you were just a normal runner that didn't do social media, nobody's like, okay, there goes Erin. You're not going to have a little stand with orange slices.
Right.
But it's because they feel invested because you've told the story. And it's funny, we talk about, and I know we're running a little bit long, but we talk about like if you watch Kona's coverage, they take athletes throughout the distance. And yeah, they talk about the top people, but they also will talk about the nun that's 89 that's going
I
to
love
complete
that.
Coda.
Right.
So you're invested. You watch the whole thing and you're like, this is cool. Like, look how
Yeah.
she's doing. And they're telling you the story, how she helps these children and this, and you're cheering for her.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting, what you've been able to do is you've taken your audience, got them invested in seeing you and cheering for you and wanting to see you in these events that maybe the events haven't picked up on yet, but that human story is compelling to people. And it doesn't just need to be the front men's pack. And we
No
get
one
a little
really wants to see
sprinkling of
that.
the women's pack or something. Yeah, I mean, really, after you've seen Kipchoge run out front for most of the race and he's by himself, you're like, wow, that's amazing. I like seeing the transitions where he gets the stuff, but I don't need to watch him continuously for the whole 2 hours. I want to see the women's pack. I want to see average people. Like, go back to the people that are high-fiving people and touching, tapping for the extra speed and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But
Taking the Jello shots.
thanks for coming
Yeah.
to my TED Talk.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think it's a lot more entertaining to watch someone. I mean, for me, it's like, oh well, I want to watch someone like me. The elites are cool too, and that's all the excitement. I'm like, wow, look how fast they run. And then I'm like, okay, so where's the person that's off the course, like stretching their hip and wondering, are they going to make it?
Yeah.
I want to see them. My next venture, another venture is creating content for track and field. So like for USA, do you say USATF or US track and field team?
I say USATF.
I say USATF, but that was
I
only
always
in my
forget
head.
the letters.
It's USATF.
And I'm
Okay.
like, those things.
So I'm going to create content for them to try and kind of get my audience who is not in a track and field interested in people that are running track and field. Because that's like my next thing. I'm like, who are these people that run this is their life.
Yeah.
And it's so specific. Like, I know a lot of the women marathon runners. I follow them. Like, I know their stories and what they're doing now. But track and field is a whole nother world. And I'm like, I want to go to there. And I want to take my people with and see, like, what is this world about? Let's go take a gander because they're letting me in for some reason.
Believe it or not, that was our experience at Worlds. Like, we don't.
None of us
Or you
came from track. We have zero clue on any of it.
And we're like, well, and I'm like, let's not even try to fake it. Like
You don't know what you're
pretend
talking
we know.
about.
Let's our audience. Maybe there's other people like us in our audience that don't know track and
Right.
field, and I still don't understand why it's a 5,000 meters on the track and it's a 5K when it's on the road. Like, why can't they just combine the names? And
Some questions will never be answered.
Yeah.
the only problem, the track careers are a lot faster. Like,
You mean they're over?
yeah,
Yeah.
the time period. It's like they transition to.
It's like a ballet dancer. They're retired, like early 30s.
Yeah.
all right.
I don't know that about track. I'm just assuming.
I didn't know that about ballet dancers.
Okay. We're sharing all the important things with each other. It's
So much knowledge exchanged.
Yeah, it's probably
like me and David Goggins.
yeah. Stay hard.
I'm just going to start like tagging him in my posts
please
and
do.
just.
I would love it if you just ended some of your TikToks with "Stay hard, motherfucker."
I might have to say like mother.
Oh, are you PG?
I try not to curse in my videos.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been potty mouthed this one.
No, this is your podcast.
Okay. Do you want
Yeah.
to say any curse words on our?
Shit, fuck, damn, piss, hell.
All right.
All right.
Got it all
There
out.
you go.
Yeah.
And we will montage that into a loop.
And, yeah,
Just play that.
I'm down for it.
All right. Well, that sounds like a good place to wrap
Add it
things
to
up.
your soundboard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That'd be good. We have Ilya Kipchoge saying, "I believe in the run," and we could have Erin Azar saying,
Shit, fuck, damn, piss, hell.
Okay.
I think she nailed it.
Yeah.
You're
That's
very good with
Thanks.
the
I
memory.
practice a lot.
Yeah.
All right. With all those kids.
Yeah, yeah. That it comes out.
All right. I think that's good. What do you think?
Yeah. Thanks so much,
You wanna
Erin, for
add
coming
anything?
You
in.
guys, this was fun.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to the audience?
Stay hard.
I like it.
And David Goggins, you can reach me at immrspacecadet@gmail.com and we can put
Oh,
together.
you just gave your Gmail out.
It's on my
are you ready for it?
Instagram.
Okay.
Is your handle the same across all platforms people want to find you?
No, TikTok is mrs.space.cadet.
Okay.
I don't know why I chose I'm Mrs. Space Cadet for Instagram. That still bothers me. Maybe I should change it.
Is there
You
there
can.
time? Can you get the other one?
I don't know. Someone probably has it.
Yeah.
I would go now. But what are the last 4 digits of your social security?
Right. 1285.
And your phone number?
Home address.
Exactly. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
And now, guess what? You guys won't come along with us because the podcast is over. But we're going to go and do some more fun stuff with Erin, and she's going to do some stuff with Jarrett.
And where can they find that, Thomas?
I
Sorry to put you on the spot. I thought you had
think
it figured out.
Believe in the Run on YouTube.
I was like, you should have this figured
Yeah.
out. It's all our channels.
Yeah. On the internets.
All right. We got to end this before you have more tangents.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.